and welcome to the light side
of the paranormal.
I'm Alice.
I'm Jenna.
And today we're going to be doing a video about the Hat Man.
Who is the Hat Man? I'm sure if you were here, you may know what a shadow person is. And what a shadow person is exactly that. It is a shadow that looks like a person. It is a being that appears to you in the shadows. They are dark. They are usually transparent, right? They look like a shadow that has no person attached to it. It's just the shadow. Nobody really knows what they are. They usually kind of just sit in a corner and observe.
And shadow people are one of the most commonly seen paranormal apparitions,
Right.
All over the world.
So they usually just sit and watch. There's no explanation to what they are. There are theories that they could be spirits, that they could be time travelers, aliens, just because they're often just observing. So the Hat Man is one shadow person in particular that has been spotted all over the world.
He's a famous shadow person,
Yeah.
but he's actually seen as an even darker, more solid looking shadow person.
That's the one thing that kind of makes him different, is that yes, he is more solid, almost like there is an actual person there. Another thing that makes him a little bit different from a regular shadow person is that shadow people usually just disappear slowly, or you might see one out of the corner of your eyes and look and it was just a dark corner of the room. You don't see the person anymore. Whereas he has been seen where you look at him and he's still there, and then you see him leave the room.
Like walk out.
Or float away.
So what does the Hat Man look like? Well, I'll tell you. He is at least 6 feet tall. Like I had said before, he's darker than a normal shadow person and more solid, sort of like a black mass. People often will describe him as being darker than the dark room that they're in. He's obviously seen wearing a hat, which often has a brim on it, or it's a top hat, sometimes a fedora.
Yeah, usually, obviously, he is the Hat Man, so like he has a hat and it's always got some type of brim on it.
He's often seen wearing a trench coat or a cape. And he sometimes has a pocket watch that he'll check from time to time, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Makes
Random.
him even more like a person.
Yeah,
like I feel
what
like
is he doing when he's checking that watch?
Yeah. He rarely is seen with facial features, but some say that he does have red glowing eyes. I don't like that.
That's creepy. So usually he just watches you from a corner. People say he's either watching or they've seen him in a mirror as a reflection, or that he's bending over them while they're sleeping. They wake up to see him bending over watching them, or they'll see him standing in a corner. And it's said too that he seems to be amused or delighted in fear. So if you get scared and stuff, he could be seen, I don't know, like it said that he could be seen smiling, but at the same time, most of the time he doesn't have facial features. Maybe it's like a feeling that you get that he's like happy about your fear or something, or your uncomfortable feelings. He likes that. I don't know.
A lot of like paranormal encounters, it's a lot of just feeling the vibe and like the sense.
Psychically, yeah.
Oftentimes when the Hat Man presents himself, he's felt as though like he's just a super negative energy, a really evil kind of energy. So that makes people super uncomfortable. Most people, like Jenna had said, see them in their bedrooms when they're trying to sleep, but they'll also see him in the basements a lot of the time, because basements are just creepy, and that's...
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe dark. There's a lot more places to
Shadowy.
to hide. I don't know.
Yeah.
Basements, yeah.
Some people say that they think he's a demon or even the devil himself.
Why do some people see the Hat Man and other people don't? I guess studies have shown the similarities in the cases where people have seen the Hat Man. There have been negative emotions that take place in the household. It's a lot of negatively fueled households. For example, homes with domestic abuse, a lot of fighting, with depressed family members, with alcoholic family members. If it's a negative household, he will manifest, is kind of what the deal is.
I guess when you're a negative entity, you probably like are attracted to spaces that give you that like flourishing negative energy.
And it's said that he feeds on fear and anxiety and stuff, so I mean
that makes sense.
He would fuel it even more. And so and then so some people have seen him once in their lifetime during like a really rough time that they're having. Other people have been visited by him for years. So yeah, so he's supposed to be pretty scary when you see him. Like, you feel scared and uncomfortable. And lots of times people say that they just get a feeling that he wants to kill them or hurt them, and he takes pleasure in it.
That's so... I feel like some of that fear would probably come from thinking that there's a stranger that's broken into your house.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're seeing a man in the corner of your bedroom just staring at you, I mean, even if he's there with like good intentions, it would be a scary feeling.
Totally.
I like to think that maybe there's like some other meaning behind it, like not something scary. I like to think that maybe he was like a time traveler or some type of being that is checking in on you during hard times instead of the other way around. And maybe you get the negative feelings because you're already feeling negative, you're already feeling terrible, and now there's this. I mean, what's he checking the watch for?
Yeah, I think the time traveler theory is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
The idea that he's an alien, I mean, I can dig it, but I just believe the time travel one more for some reason. Not that I don't believe in aliens, but like just him specifically.
I like
or
to
maybe
hope
an interdimensional being. Like
I like to think there's more to him than and what he's doing than just negative, evil demon wanting to hurt you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's how we think on the light side. That's why you're here.
Yeah. We try to spin things in a positive way.
Yeah. This is super interesting because, okay, so I have a client, I'm a hairstylist, I have a client that she knows that I'm into like this kind of stuff, but she herself has not done much research on it. So she was just telling me a paranormal story that her mom had told her. So this was actually her mom's paranormal story. She herself has never experienced anything paranormal, but she's never heard of the Hat Man.
Okay.
She or her mom or her sister have never heard of the Hat Man, but she happened to have a story about him.
Without even knowing who it was about, right?
Exactly. So like, that's the coolest part to me, because it's like super authentic and cool.
Okay.
So, okay. I should start by saying that she has given me permission to share this story with you. Her mom and her sister lived in like this really cute small house. Their bedrooms were upstairs. They would obviously go to bed earlier than their parents. And more often than not, there would be a lot of arguing going on between the parents. So there was some alcoholism going on. You know, it was bad vibes in the house, wasn't a happy home. Things take a turn when her mom, we'll call her Sandra, and Sandra was going to sleep that night. She was getting ready for bed, getting into her bed, and she just started to fall asleep when her covers were torn off of her while she was in bed, which startled her and woke her up. and she saw a big shadowy black mass in the shape of a man wearing a big brimmed hat standing in the doorway. He was silhouetted from the light that was in the hall. She was absolutely petrified. So she ran into her sister's room. We're gonna call her Andrea. So Andrea goes, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? I heard you scream." And Sandra goes, "There was this man, there was a big scary shadowy man in my room. He was in there, my covers got ripped up." And her sister goes, "Yeah, right, go to bed. You're just full of it." You know, she collects herself and goes to bed. Her sister was a little bit older than her. So then Andrea, the next day, goes to work. She was working in a bar.
This is the older sister?
The older sister,
Okay.
yes. So she's cleaning up after the end of the night at the bar. It was just her alone in the bar. And doesn't she see a shadowy man in the corner of the bar? And she goes, "Oh sir, we're closed, you gotta leave." And he just walked out. And then she shook her head and realized, wait a minute. This is the same man that Sandra described. Big black mass, shadow man, big brimmed hat.
So she didn't like see any features, she just saw.
No. So then she runs home and goes, "Sandra, oh my gosh, I believe you. I saw the man." So it's so interesting. Both of these girls in this home where there was all of these negative things going on, both had a sighting of the Hat Man.
Same guy.
And to this day, they both swear that they've seen it. Rest in peace, Sandra has passed on. She's no longer with us, but my client told me that to the day that she passed on, she swore that she had seen this man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Then were you like, that's the Hat Man?
Yeah, so like this was my reaction. I was like, "Oh my gosh, do you know about the Hat Man?" And she was like, "No."
And you were like, this is a thing.
"You need to know this." Like, and then I started kind of digging for information in like a gentle way, and I got like the background of the home and their situation, because she wouldn't just tell me that.
Exactly.
Right? And we had like a really good vibe going. She felt comfortable sharing these things with me and having me share these things with you. So it was just like I was like connecting these dots.
Was she like really interested when you were like, that's the Hat Man?
Yeah,
she like, oh my gosh.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, like it makes sense." Like my mom swore that she saw it because she's never seen it, but her mom and her mom's sister saw it. So it was just so crazy and so cool that we're able to connect those dots together.
Yeah.
And so I gave her all this information. I told her like, "Go research this when you get home," and she was all excited to go research the Hat Man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have never seen him. I will start off by saying I have never seen him, but when I was about 16, I was at home one night doing whatever, and my boyfriend calls me, who is now my husband. So he calls me and he was like, "I just saw a ghost." And I was like, okay, like he knows I'm like,
you're like
all up in this. Let's get the facts here. He was like, "I just saw a ghost." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was totally flustered, and he is not one to be like, as I am. But anyway, so for him to be like shooken by this, I was like, I took that really seriously.
Shooketh?
He was shooketh. His wig was snatched.
Oh my god.
So in their basement, they had a shower, like a bathroom that just had a stand-up shower. That's it. So with like a glass shower door. So he said that he was showering and he just happened to like look out the door and there was somebody standing there, a black mass person with a big hat, he said.
And he didn't know about the Hat Man.
No, like this was like a long time ago.
Yeah. So,
and I was like, holy crap, that's scary. And he was like, I went upstairs and I told my dad, because he's like, I was totally like, is somebody here? Mm-hmm. He was like, he shut off the shower immediately and walked out. When he opened the door, it was gone. So he went upstairs and his dad was like, oh yeah, I see him all the time.
Just all casual.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
But that's him for you. So Gavin was like, what? And he was like, yeah, when I'm sleeping in bed, I can look out my bedroom door, and he stands at the top of the stairs. And he's even gotten up, I think he had even gotten up the first couple of times. His dad like up like in a rage, like who the fuck is in my house kind of thing. And then when he got there, it was gone. So he was like, yeah, no, there's a ghost in our house. Like he's saying this to Gavin. There's a ghost in our house, and he wears a hat and he wears a trench coat. And Gavin's like, that's exactly what I saw. And so then maybe, I'm gonna say like maybe last year, me doing my ghost research for fun. Like I have no other reason to be doing this. Now I do, but me being on my phone, like
regular Sunday
saw
night.
this thing, yeah, saw that was reading like up about like shadow people or whatever, and came across the Hat Man, and I was like, Hat Man? So then I started reading, and it's like one of those moments, it was one of those moments where I was like, I couldn't even keep reading. I was so like, holy shit, holy fuck. Like I was home alone, I was like, oh my god, this has never made more sense in my entire life. Like, you know, like you're like, and I've got the answers now. Like, it was, they lived in like a very negative household, and his dad was like, I'm not slandering names here, but yes, he had an alcohol abuse problem and a substance abuse problem, and it was a very negative, always fighting, the most negative household in the entire planet. Okay, so like just the fact that like I was like, wow, that's the Hat Man. You saw that? And then it was like, shows up when you have alcoholic parents and stuff, and I was like, holy shit, like it just kept making sense.
Made sense,
yeah. When I told that to him, he was like, holy crap. Like, and so if you just type in the Hat Man on Google, there's pictures everywhere, and I was showing him, and he was like, shit, that's exactly who I saw.
Yeah.
And he only saw him that one time, I think. But his dad said he saw him a few times. We started dating young. And so around this time that this was happening, we were 16-ish. He has 4 sisters, only 3 at the time. One was not born yet.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they would have been when I was 16. I'm going to guess, I might be off like a year or 2. So if you guys are watching this, I love you. I'm not doing the math. I'm gonna say, and you guys know, if you've watched any of our other videos, I have absolutely no concept of age whatsoever when it comes to like younger children. So I'm good. Okay. We'll start off by saying a bunch of stuff got cut off, like, and didn't record, like literally
20 minutes.
A whole half of our video.
Yeah. Of
like solid quality content.
And we're sorry because you guys would have just loved it, and it just completely got cut out.
We're like devastated.
Yeah, like the mood is a little bit down.
Yeah.
We're a little bit upset about it, but that's okay.
But that's Mercury retrograde for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, Google it, and all your answers will, all your shitty things that happen in your life during Mercury in retrograde will make sense.
And we always mention this in our videos, but like anytime that we discuss anything paranormal, our technology, our electronics always mess up in some way. So this is just that way this time.
Yeah. And especially like we'll talk about certain specific things, and it'll just like stop recording right when we start talking about those specific things. Yeah. So in this instance, what I'm about to talk to you right now, he has 4 siblings. One of them wasn't born yet. He had 3 siblings at the time. Like I said before, I have no concept of age. I'm going to say the youngest was about 4, followed by the middle sister, I'm going to say she was about 8, and then the older sister, I'm going to say about 12. And they had a playroom that all the toys got thrown into this one room. It became the designated girls' playroom. And I remember not liking this room. I wouldn't go near it. I wouldn't go in it. It had a bad feeling. I didn't like it. I stayed away from it. It was attached to, or right next to, the bathroom where Gavin saw the Hat Man. And I hated showering in that shower. It was really scary. I don't remember seeing his sisters playing in that room. But the door, like thinking back now, like the door was open So somebody must have been going in there and grabbing stuff or whatever. But we would walk by, Gavin would close the door on our walk by. Also, Gavin was given the choice which bedroom he wanted to pick. His sister was given the choice, and then he chose to have the computer room and the workout room together in one room, which was very cramped, so as to not have to use that playroom for anything. And then that's how it got designated the playroom. Which was interesting. And now, like, if I talk to him about it, he's like, yeah, I remember that. I didn't like that room and I didn't go near it. I closed the door and stuff. So yeah, so that was weird. So I'm only mentioning this because that doesn't specifically involve the Hat Man, but it all happened in the same house. So interesting. I'm just lumping it all together. Something that got cut out of our videos was that I called 2 of the 3 sisters to see what they remember.
You guys could have heard it live in real time.
Because I blew someone's mind. But I will say that the youngest sister doesn't remember. She was 4. She doesn't remember much. She remembers playing in that playroom. She remembers not being scared or anything, but she does remember Gavin seeing something scary in the bathroom and being scared. Now she knows the story because she's old enough that we told her. She did say that she remembers playing with the Nintendo in that playroom, which the Nintendo was not in that playroom. Childhood memories that don't really line up, you know? So Trista, the oldest sister, I did call her. I blew her mind. She knew nothing about the Hat Man. I will recall her now and she can tell you what she remembers.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't already just talk to you.
Okay.
So mad that it got cut off. Oh my god.
Like, as if.
It was such good quality content. But you know what?
It stopped, like, recording.
It stopped recording as soon as I started talking about the playroom.
Really?
Yeah, and then everything shut off, which was like another 10 minutes of the video before I even called you, which, fuck. Anyway, we started our conversation originally by saying that you did not know anything about the Hat Man.
No, I did not.
And so then retell what you remember about the shadow person at your house when you were a kid.
So, with the shadow person, I remember Dad seeing him in the middle of the night. Like, he would wake up and he'd be standing at the end of his bed. And he would literally leap forward, sometimes into a wall, like denting the wall, trying to, like, fight this guy off.
Yeah.
And he would also see him pretty much, like, floating, or what looked like him to be hanging in our stairwell.
Yeah, okay, yes. And then Gavin, you remember?
I remember Gavin seeing him in the shower and being so scared.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it really scared him.
Yeah. Because that was like, that's like the first time that's like put Gavin out of his like comfort zone when it comes to like paranormal situations.
That's probably what made Gavin believe in it.
Yeah.
And that it happened to him.
Yes. And then also you said you had the same feelings about the playroom.
I did not like that basement bathroom or the playroom.
Yeah.
Like, I would not shower with the door closed because I would see shadows, but they weren't like visible, if that makes sense.
Where the shower was so sketchy. Like, it was like around the corner, so that when you were in the shower and the shower door was like fogged up, oh my god.
You couldn't see anything.
No,
it was wall. It was black.
And you were like kind of facing, because where the shower head was, you were kind of like facing where the door was, and you could see like shadows, like almost like someone was standing in front of the mirror or something.
Yeah. This sounds really weird, but like they would be in front of the door, but then they wouldn't. It's like they were checking to see who was there, if that makes sense.
Like peeking in the door?
Yeah. But it's like out of the corner of my eye, so I don't know what I saw.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I think I saw a lot out of the corner of my eye at that house. But not like full on, like where I was like, oh. Especially in the bathroom. Man, I have never showered faster in my life than when I showered in that shower.
No. I would often shower in like Dad's shower upstairs.
Yeah. I would make Gavin sit on the couch outside the door.
It was really weird. In the playroom, I would not go in the playroom.
Yeah,
I can probably count the amount of times on my hand.
Yeah.
My single hand that I went into that
I
playroom.
probably just went in to grab something.
Yeah.
So why didn't you want to go in the playroom?
It was weird. It was a bad vibe. And
Yeah.
it was always cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Like,
just...
it wasn't a happy place in that playroom.
No. It was just... It just felt better to avoid it.
And, like, this might be another thing. Like, I don't know. The energy in that corner where the bathroom and the playroom was not good. But when
Yeah.
you think about it, Dad's room was right on top of it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Something fucks with my head when it comes to that house. I can't picture the layout.
I just thought of it like
Oh,
Dad's room
yeah,
is
you're
on
right.
top of
Yeah.
where the playroom was.
Yes. Because, okay, so I will say for people watching now who didn't get to see before that when I brought up the fact that it was like that the Hat Man would show up in like negative home situations with like domestic abuse, alcoholic abuse, substance abuse, depressed family members fighting, that's when like stuff with our family got like really, really bad, that we'd start hearing those stories about.
Yeah, which blows my mind that
Yeah.
that's when he shows up.
Yeah, it makes a lot of
Because that
sense.
describes our family to a T.
Yeah. And the fact that, yeah, like it was your dad that saw him a lot and he was like,
Going through things.
yeah. Sorry.
I was just thinking, like, I remember Dad seeing him one more time, from what I know, in the house in the park.
Really?
The house where you guys lived across the street. Yeah,
Yeah.
I came up the stairs once. Dad was at the end of the hallway crying.
Really?
But he had been drinking.
Yeah. Well.
And I remember sitting at the end, like, talking to him, and Dad was saying that he had seen him in his bedroom. So I don't know, and that's like right before I moved out and everything happened. So I don't know if at that time, like, he started coming around again.
Weird.
So that's a perfect example of how the Hat Man isn't attached to the house. It's attached, or not attached, but it shows
Visits
up
people.
when certain situations are going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Okay.
So cool.
Okay, now I'll call Heaven. She was the middle sister.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm actually recording right now and Alice is here and you're on speaker because I want to ask you some questions.
Hey.
Hey.
Do you remember Gavin or your dad when we lived on Street?
Okay, it's super funny that you're going to ask me this because I was just talking about this
To who?
with Chelsea.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so what
Okay,
were
go
you
on.
talking about? No, tell me what you're talking about.
Okay, well, she never knew what Dad and Gavin used to see in that house. Or actually, Dad sees it everywhere he goes.
He still sees it.
He still sees it, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Because Chelsea still says that he gets up and checks on them or says goodnight like 8 times before he goes to bed. So, to me, that means he still sees them.
Right, like he's still checking in.
Yeah, because he used to get up and make sure everybody was okay before he went to bed after he's seen it.
Right.
So, Dad used to wake up to this guy in a trench coat and a hat, I think that's what it was, standing over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember Gavin freaking out because he was getting out of the shower and he opened the door. I'm getting chills talking about it.
Yeah.
He opened the door and the guy was standing right there.
Yeah.
Staring at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's what we were filming about. Did you know that that man is called the Hat Man? And he's...
I feel like I heard, you told me this before. You had looked it up on the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like maybe a year or two ago, yeah. It's one of the most spotted paranormal occurrences in the world. And he's always 6 feet tall. He's always wearing a hat with a brim on it and a trench coat. And he always shows up in households that have negative emotions like domestic abuse, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, fighting, depressed family members, anxiety.
It's insane.
Like,
it's crazy. Cause like, and I remember Sylvie would wake up and Dad would be like punching the wall.
Yeah, that's
but Dad was seeing that guy.
Yeah.
He was freaking out. That's why whenever like he's sleeping, we can't go near him. He wakes up with a fist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Super crazy.
Do you remember him saying that he would see him by the stairs or just over the bed?
I think one time I remember him saying he seen him by the stairs, and that's why he checked on us.
Okay.
It's because he was in the hallway area, because that's where the hallway was.
Okay. Now, do you remember anything else creepy about that house?
Yes. I hated playing in the playroom.
Yeah.
Because I would walk in the playroom and I would feel like it wasn't safe. Like somebody was in there. I'd never go in there alone. I'd always have to leave the door open, the light on. I never wanted to be in there by myself or with the light off.
Yeah. Okay.
And like when I would have to clean it,
oh man,
I just rushed as much as I could because I felt like somebody was always standing over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. And you know what else that Trista pointed out, which is really interesting? So that we both agreed like that bathroom and that playroom felt terrible. But that bathroom and the playroom was underneath your dad's bedroom.
Shit.
Weird, eh?
That is weird.
But did you ever see him? No, eh?
No, I never saw him. I just really felt like that playroom, I never wanted to be in there. It scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's a freaking playroom and it was one room.
Yeah.
It's the only room in that house I never wanted to really be in by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Gavin used to like walk by the playroom and just like shut the door like it was part of routine, like just to never leave the door open. Yeah,
that door was always shut and it was actually really cold in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I remember it. I remember always being cold while I was in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting that all of the stories about this house are consistent between everyone that lived there.
Yeah, like you and
Trista. And we were all young.
Yeah, yeah. Like all three of us and Gavin have all said the exact same thing.
Yeah. And it's just so funny. I was just telling Chelsea about all of this. And like because Dad actually told me that he used to see him in the trailer too.
In the trailer?
Yeah. But like you said though, it would follow him.
Yeah. Trista says
technically like we spent a lot of time in that trailer.
Yeah.
So
Trista says she remembers your dad saying that he saw him in the street too.
Yeah, he followed him.
Yeah.
Because I had asked Dad about it one day, and he says it wasn't just that one house. Like this followed him everywhere.
I wonder when it started.
I don't know. I wonder, and I wonder if he still sees them because everything is so completely different now.
Yeah.
Like he's completely different. Like even the alcohol and stuff. So I wonder if he still sees them.
Yeah. Yeah, like he has a totally different family dynamic now. So I wonder.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that you remember this stuff.
Oh, I could never forget. I think about it all the time.
Yeah. Everyone remembers the same thing.
Yeah, like their stories are completely the same.
Yeah. Which is good.
But it also goes to show like the fact that like clearly this has all actually happened. It's not just Jenna telling a story. It's like we now have proof that this actually happened.
Yeah. Also, this has taken us like 2 hours to film, so like the lighting has decreased drastically. So
keeps changing.
We're gonna wrap this up while we still have some light. Yeah. So what happened to you this week?
Oh yeah, so paranormal things that happened to you this week. We're back at it.
Or like
Welcome.
that happened to you over the last
month. No.
like a month.
Honestly, like ever since I moved out of the haunted apartment that we had filmed about, I haven't experienced much of the paranormal. Like I'm not seeing spirits every day like I used to and things like that. My house doesn't seem to be heavily visited by those from the other side. However, as I mentioned in previous videos, since we filmed that paranormal investigation in my haunted apartment, I've been getting up at 3 a.m. and so has my husband. Well, between 3 and 3:15. So things have taken a turn for the worse. Things have progressed and gotten more intense as the nights have gone on. So I used to wake up at 3 a.m., my husband too, and would be like wide awake, ready to take on our day, and then look at the clock and go, oh my gosh, it's 3 a.m., we need to go back to bed. Which was odd. But here's where it gets super duper weird. So, for 3 nights in a row now, I have woken up, not because I'm awake and ready to take on my day like I used to, but I've woken up because of the feeling that I'm going to vomit. And like I'm talking like could probably vomit right there, like as I'm waking up, but I hold it in and run to the bathroom as fast as I can. And once I reach the bathroom, I'm sorry, like disclaimer, if you get grossed out, like just pass by a couple minutes. Just projectile vomit into the toilet. Like we're talking like exorcist style, like
Oh my
strong
God.
And like it's like almost everything that I've eaten that day. Like it's like really intense, like shaking, like really intense. And then the second that I finish vomiting, like it's just like once, but a big one. Then I feel great and I brush my teeth, mouthwash, and go back to bed and fall back asleep.
And you're not sick through the day. You're totally fine.
Right, yeah, I should mention that. I've not been sick, I've not had the flu, I've not had a fever. Like throughout the day, I'm totally 100% normal. But at 3 a.m., this has been happening to me 3 times in a row. 3 nights in a row.
Also, it is a full moon tonight. But that is really fucked up.
It's so fucked up. Like, I've never heard of this happening to anybody
I will
before.
say, though, I have woken up out of a dead sleep because I'm gonna vomit. And then, like, sitting up and being like talking myself down and stuff and not knowing why. Not because I'm sick or anything, and then just going back to bed and being totally fine. But the feeling of I'm gonna puke now has been the reason why I'm, like, sitting up in bed hardcore.
That's what it's like. Except it actually happens.
Yeah.
And it's, like, intense. My husband has not been getting sick, but he still has been waking up. Like, I'm not scared, but I'm just very confused and hopeful that it doesn't continue to get worse or just continue to stay the way that it is right now. Like, I just want to sleep. I don't know why. It's only been this way ever since we did the investigation of the apartment. As you guys know, there was one specific entity that I got a lot of really negative vibes from, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. Of course, naturally, that's how I try and rationalize it because it's the only thing I can probably think of. But if you guys know anything about this, why this could be happening to me, if this has happened to you, please comment down below or shoot us an email if it's a really long story, because which is in the description, because I'm dying to know what is going on with me right now.
Are you having nightmares when it happens, or just out of nowhere?
No, like, actually, I usually am a very vivid dreamer. I dream every single night, and I usually remember my dreams, but lately I haven't been dreaming. Yeah. How about you? What's happening to you this week?
Like nothing.
Just nothing.
Just plagued by Mercury retrograde. Yeah. But like nothing paranormal. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I love how I'm like, nothing paranormal, and I'm like, oh wait, I saw,
Oh, wait,
except for
there's
that
more.
ghost that I saw the other day.
But it becomes normal, right?
We were driving to go camping and we passed a graveyard and I was like, it popped in my head that I was like, what are the chances of like looking into a graveyard when you're driving by and actually seeing a ghost? And I like looked and then we passed the graveyard and at the last second, I swear I saw a little boy up against the fence in like old timey like navy button-up shirt, kind of like dress work pants, kind of with like a newspaper style hat on, like just standing at the fence a split second.
Whoa. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, like so fast though, like so fast.
That's often how it is. It's like, did I see that?
Yeah.
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 Except for the Hat Man.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We really hope that you guys enjoyed this.
Thank you for joining us for the evening news.
Yeah. Thank you and good night.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Hat Man?
Yeah. Yeah, or do you know somebody who has seen the Hat Man? Did you know about the Hat Man before this?
Yeah, are we blowing your mind right now?
Also, things have been like uploading, like I like to upload like every Thursday or Friday. I've like missed a whole week now because like my freaking computer won't upload videos. Also, Mercury retrograde.
But also, electronics messing up again.
Yeah, in our paranormal videos, like just
all the time. And
it's frustrating.
Jenna was saying when we first started uploading videos, like before we really dove into the paranormal stuff, they would upload fine.
Yeah, they'd be like 30-minute videos. I'd be like uploading like this, and like now it's like crazy.
So thank you so much for watching our video.
Yeah, and if you like paranormal content, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, and always remember to
live your life with love and light. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.